Cool.
Hi everybody. Um, Today I'll be taking us on a class on how to introduce numbers to children. And I'm looking at a target of children between ages 2 to 4 years old. And I'll be working with numbers 1, 2, 3, which are the basic numbers. You basically use the same steps for other numbers. Okay, so I have some materials I have made, personal materials, because that's the reason for this lesson. How you can make homemade Montessori materials to carry out these lessons without having to buy expensive Montessori materials. I made one and I call it the math kit. Okay, it has every single thing that a teacher would need to introduce and to teach numbers to a child and other number works to a child, still through the Montessori process. So for this very lesson, I have made my number rods. Okay, you know the normal number rods are usually very long, but I just made a miniature version of it because the intention is to show the child the fixed quantities and the difference in the fixed quantities. When one is small, 2 is larger, 3 larger, 4 larger, and so on and so forth. So this will satisfy that. Also, I have made something in place of the sandpaper numerals. I actually laminated and cut this out, made, you can see, a hole. I just cut it out, I laminated it and cut it out so the child can have an impression of the number. So I'm working with number 1, number 2, and number 3. Right. This I'll be using for the very first lesson for introduction. The second part of it, where I go to loose quantities and numbers, I have a self-made spindle box, and I'll show you how that works much later. Okay, and I have the bead stairs. This is the larger form of it. I printed and laminated, and this is a miniature form of it. So I'll also show you how to work with that. Then these are my flashcards for the numbers, also laminated and cut at home. Then I have my cards and my counters, which is supposed to be for a measure of the concrete and the abstract. So, of course, from the very first lesson we'll be doing concrete and abstract. This is the concrete and this is the abstract. So I'll start with these, so which means I'm going to put this away. When it comes to the right point, I'll introduce them and use them. Alright. So the methods I'll be using will be convenient for a teacher to teach a group of children seated around her, or just one child or two seated on both sides. So I'll be having an imaginary student with me. Let's just imagine the child is on this side and would have a lesson. Even if I had them round about me, the same process would still work. I'm wearing my nose mask, my face mask, to show that COVID is real. So that's that. So today we will be having a lesson on numbers, and I'll be introducing the numbers 1, 2, and 3. This is our number rod. We've already taken them from our workstation, from the shelves to our workstation. So this is my workstation. My table is quite neat, that's why I'm not using any mat. Actually, I should use a mat, but I just don't feel like that's necessary right now. Okay, so let's get our rods out and place them randomly. The child will help you do this. Okay, so just place them randomly on our workspace. Okay. And we'll start this lesson by building a number rod stair. We start with the smallest to the largest number. Okay, so I've built the number rod stairs. Would you like to have a try? When the child responds, you either get a new set. I have a second set somewhere here. Okay, you either get a new set for the child to try out the exercise, or you rearrange the rods so the child now arranges them in proper order. Okay, so when we're done with that, we go to a 3-period lesson to introduce the number quantities. Okay, so and we're dealing with fixed quantities this time. So I take the first 3, which I'll be introducing. Okay, so we're learning the names of these number rods. This is 1, this is 1, this is 1. This is 2. Pay attention to where I place my finger. This is 2, this is 2, this is 2. This is 3, this is 3, this is 3. Now, can you show me number 1? Point at it and name it. The child responds, this is number 1. Can you point and name to show me rod number 2? This is rod number 2. Now, can you point, name to show me rod number 3? This is number 3. I mix them up and I repeat the same process. Can you point, name and show me number 1? This is number 1. Can you point, name and show me number 2? This is number 2. Can you point, name and show me number 3? This is number 3. And you rearrange it again. Now can you point, name and show me number 3? This is number 3. Can you point, name and show me number 2? This is number 2. Can you point, name and show me number 1? This is number 1. Good job. What number is this? This is number 1. The teacher does the asking, the child does the response. Now what number is this? Child responds, this is number 2. Teacher asks again, what number is this? Child responds, this is number 3. Okay, so today we've named the names of the rods, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now I'll be showing you the symbols of these quantities. This is the symbol for number 1. This is the symbol for number 2. And this is the symbol for number 3. And I'll go ahead to conduct a 3-period lesson on this. This is number 1, number 1, number 1. Would you like to trace and feel number 1? The child traces and feels and says number 1. This is number 2, this is number 2, This is number 2. Would you like to trace and feel and say number 2? The child traces and feels and says number 2. This is number 3, number 3, number 3. Would you like to trace and feel and say number 3? The child goes ahead to do it. Number 3, number 3. Can you trace and feel and show me number 1? The child responds, says number 1. Can you trace, feel, and show me number 2? Child traces and feels and says number 2. Can you trace, feel, and show me number 3? This is number 3. Teacher mixes it up the second for once. Can you trace, feel, and show me number 1? The child traces and feels number 1. Can you trace, feel, and show me number 2? This is number 2. Can you trace, feel, and show me number 3? Child traces and feels number 3. And we mix it up again. Now, can you trace, feel, and show me number 2? Child traces and feels number 2. Can you trace, feel, and show me number 1? Child traces, feels number 1. Can you trace, feel, and show me number 3? This is number 3. What number is this? The child says, this is number 1. What number is this? Child responds, this is number 2. What number is this? The child responds and says, this is number 3. Okay, so we have learned the names of the quantities and the symbols for numbers 1, 2, and 3. Feel free to work with this material anytime. There are other numbers here. We'll be learning about their name, the names of their quantities and their symbols. And teacher goes ahead to give the child a task in a worksheet to finger paint the numbers or color in the numbers. So I'll see you for the next step soon. Thank you.